Okay.
Yeah. Am I audible now?
Yes.
Yeah. So, Rachel, when there was an internet issue, I was just praising you for all the work that you have done, representing the margins of the society and documenting their lives, because it's so much important to talk about inclusiveness through whatever field of work you are in. Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, and Rachel, tell us that you have your work, your photographs published in the best of publications, be it the New York Times or the Wall Street Journal, ESPN. So, how do you navigate through it? I mean, do you approach them as a professional? Was it difficult for you, or was it not? If you could just talk about your journey, because there are so many aspiring photographers who would want to do the same.
Yeah, I think just keeping at it, and I think reaching out, setting up meetings, trying to go to as many workshops that you can, and getting a network of photographers together. I think that is huge to really to uh, create groups with other photographers, and even if that's
Okay.
virtually, reach out to photographers and form a network, because you can all share ideas, you can all share contacts, and figure out, hey, did you apply to this grant, did you apply to this contest, because that's
Okay.
when all the editors are they're looking at all of that, and they
Okay.
see your name and they see who you are, they see your work. So the more you're active in reaching out and trying to connect with the photo industry and the editorial publications where you want to work is huge. So it's just a
Yeah.
constant reaching out.
So, Rachel, I mean, even at this point, when you have your photographs published in most of the best publications, do you still have to reach out? Is that a continuous process that goes on and on?
Oh, totally. You're never done. You're always working.
Yeah.
And because there's so many stories. So you're constantly pitching, which is, pulling together stories in your neighborhood or wherever you've gone,
Yeah.
and then sending it out to the editors. You want it to see published. So you're always working. So right now I have two pitches in the works that I'm
Yeah.
putting together and going to be sending out again. So it's
Okay.
constant.
And I think, Rachel, you are great at it, because we see, you getting one after the other, I mean, opportunities to get your work published in the best of publications. So, yeah, I'm
Oh,
happy for you.
thank you.
And and Rachel, tell us about the working conditions for women in this industry. I mean, the place that you are working in. I mean, is it great, or there are discrimination when it comes to, say, payment, or when it comes to just the working conditions?
So do you mean, like, what do you mean? Like, can you explain that a little bit more?
uh, uh, the situation of women journalists or women photographers in the media industry in California, or whichever places that you are working in.
Yeah, I think women definitely need to be assertive. I think you can still tell the difference with male versus female getting
Yeah.
jobs. And I think we're getting there, where we're pushing and pushing harder to get to be equal, but it still doesn't feel equal.
Oh, okay.
I think um, we formed that women photograph group. I
Yeah.
don't know if you've heard of that. There's a group called Women Photograph.
I've not heard about that, but I think that every state or every city or every nation has one.
Yes, it's the whole world can join. Any woman from around the
Yeah,
world can join this group.
can
And I
join.
think that really has been helpful to bond together as women in the industry, because for so long, males are, get hired over female for whatever reason. And I think it's
Okay.
important that we stick together and
And just support each other.
yeah, support
Yeah.
each other.
And Rachel, when you go for an assignment, what is the role of a journalist? I mean, how does she or he help you? Get a better picture, or no? These are two separate things, and your paths don't cross at all. How is it?
So how do I get or say that one more time?
No. So, how does you collaborate and work with the journalist on an assignment? I mean,
Oh,
does she or he also help you in taking a better picture? Because many a times, I'll just tell you my condition when I go with a photographer. So, I'm interviewing XYZ person, and I will also introduce him or her to the photographer, so that both of them know each other, and it's easy for the photographer to get the picture. So,
yeah.
how does the dynamics work for you?
Yeah, I think having the writer, the reporter
Yeah.
on with me is really great. That's not always the case, but on a longer story. So, for example, for the Paradise story,
Yeah.
um, in Chico and Paradise, I was able to work with this amazing writer with the Wall Street Journal,
Ellie. Okay.
Erin Aylworth.
Yeah.
She's so great to work with, and I think we had a we had formed a relationship in the bond in the beginning by having all these phone calls and sharing our
Okay.
own personal opinions about um,
Hmm.
storytelling. And I think that was really great in the beginning to go into Paradise, into this hard, the devastating situation, knowing that we had the same goal, and that was to amplify
Yeah.
these voices. And so
It's
we
so
really,
important to. Yeah, I'm just saying it's so important to be on the same page with the writer to come up with a good project. True. True.
and we were on the same page, and it was so beautiful how we could go back and forth and talk about the different people that we were talking to, and then we could, hey, what would you want to photograph this? And she could ask me, do you want to go do this, or so it was a great relationship.
Great. Okay. And Rachel, tell us about the most challenging assignment that you have done or been, because in your Instagram captions I also read that many a times you are not given an assignment, but you would still go to the place and just try to find out yourself, like what's happening, out of your own personal curiosity. So, was there a time which was really challenging, but you somehow could overcome it?
Yeah, that happens a lot. I feel like you go into situations and you don't know what's gonna happen. Um,
Yeah.
so I don't not there's not one situation that really sticks out to me that was the most challenging, but there's always situations where people don't want to talk, and you
Okay.
have to move on. You just, okay, that's fine. It didn't work out
Yeah.
how I wanted it to work out, and that's always challenging. It feels like, oh, I'm not getting exactly what I want, but that's not what it's about. So
Uh,
yeah, there's
okay.
not there's
Okay.
nothing that
Yeah.
actually sticks out.
Yeah, and Rachel, after you have captured a photograph, how much does the editing and the post processing? What's the importance of all other elements as well? Because you might have the raw material, but if it's not processed, it might not give the same output that it gives otherwise.
Yeah, so captioning, so you're doing a good job reporting in the field as a photographer as well. So making sure you have all of the correct information, getting a really good detailed caption is huge. So putting that in
Okay.
there, because the writing is very important as well, not just the
Yeah.
photos.
True.
You really need to get that information, and that could push the photograph further into a wider audience.
Okay.
Um,
Okay.
yeah, and then for the editing process, keeping it as, natural as, you're not doing much editing. I don't do as much editing. Um,
Okay. Okay, so I think I'm just trying to understand your process. I mean, for a photographer, also about maybe writing or expressing what you captured in detail is important. or any other skill that a photographer requires or he may require in the future to become a good photojournalist?
Totally. I think writing is really important. Being able to listen and take really good notes when you're in the field is huge. And then going back and writing captions for your photos immediately because you forget. So I think doing that right away is really important. And then also releases, getting releases for the people that you're photographing is huge, because if there's a publication that is like, well, you have releases for this, and you say no, then maybe they won't publish it. So
Okay. Yeah, I think
release.
that's a really important point. Yeah. Yeah. And Rachel, is there any other aspect of a photojournalist which other wouldn't know? I mean, the least glamorous side of your work that, all those people who are not from the field, you would want to share it with them?
Yeah, I mean, I think you're not in the field all the time photographing.
Huh?
You are a big chunk of time sitting behind your computer at your desk, and you're writing, you're editing, you're sitting behind a screen, you're reaching out to editors, you're making connections with your photo community. So this whole career is definitely not just taking photographs. You're doing research, you're living your life, you're doing work on yourself. Um,
Yeah.
really getting to know yourself inside and out, because you're talking to people all the time, and you're trying to be, you're as honest as you can, so you need to be present and real with people. So,
Yeah. That's
and
so important.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, I think it's a very demanding job. It may not look like on the surface, but it is.
yeah,
And
and
Rachel,
yeah.
no, please go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say, yeah, keeping your body intact, because you're carrying
Intact, yeah.
equipment. So
True.
exercise, I think, is something that people don't, always say. Making sure your body is like you're in good shape to be out running around. Like, who knows what you're going to get yourself into?
So is there any health regime that you follow just because you are into this profession?
Well, I think just eating healthy, eating right,
Uh,
and exercise. Just making sure you have a routine, because if you don't have a strong body to, take these photographs, then you can't be there. So,
yeah, that's so
so I
true.
I run. I'm a runner. I run and I do yoga.
Okay, wow.
So
Yoga
yeah.
is a savior. I think yoga is a savior.
Do you do yoga?
Yes, a
Yeah.
yoga
Okay.
person. Yeah.
Good.
And
Yeah.
then Rachel, I really love the fact you wrote in one of your social media handles that camera is just an excuse. You really want to talk to people and get a sneak peek into their lives, and that's so interesting. I think as a writer or photographer, we all are driven by this urge to connect to people from a different ethnicity who have different lives. So yeah, I'm really glad that you are doing it, and it's also your profession.
Yeah. Well, that's
Yeah,
the best part, is connecting to people and learning who people
yeah,
are, and it is an excuse, I think.
yeah. And
That's
and
how I learn.
And Rachel, one of the last questions that I want to ask is that you have covered a lot about the housing problem in California, but is it a continuous process? Are you still writing and covering it?
Yes. Yeah. It's huge, and now with the pandemic, so many people
It
are
will
losing.
increase.
Yeah, people are losing their jobs. It's hard to make rent. People are getting evicted. So it's a continuous issue
Continuous
around the
thing.
world.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm still
But
working on that.
but Rachel, is there a pressure also to bring something new every single time, or I think by default there are new aspects to the same issue every time you go to cover it?
Yeah, because the media, the news keeps changing, things in life keep changing. So now the pandemic is a
Yeah.
big part of the housing crisis. So I think it's just going out meeting new people and discovering what there is to discover, and
Okay.
then photographing that. So
Yeah.
it's yeah, I guess it's a pressure, but if you're just out in the world listening and learning, your work is going to start getting shaped by it. So then you come back, you get all this new photography, and then you start looking at it and start shaping what you're going to shape.
Yeah, true, true. And Rachel, I mean, it's so unfortunate that no matter which part of the world we are in, we have similar problems. I mean, you are talking about housing problem, and also in India we have this migrant issues where people are sending them back to their hometown, and there is this whole thing of the problems that come when the migrants are leaving the cities, the urban places. So yeah, different countries but similar issues.
It's everywhere. Yeah. I know
It's everywhere.
we can all
Yeah,
relate to each other.
yeah,
So,
definitely. No,
yeah.
no, but Rachel, thank you so much for giving us insights into your work, and I think we'll need more such sessions to talk more in detail about the work you do. Half an hour is really lesser time, but yeah, thank you so much for just opening up and for sharing your stories.
Oh, well, thank you so much for reaching out. This is fun. I don't do these all the time, so this was new for me.
Oh, okay.
So I'm like,
No, no,
wait.
so
And it
Rachel, in
really,
future, if you are doing any other interesting assignment, please share it with all the Indian friends.
of course. No, I love it. Thank you so much for reaching out. I would love to
Yeah,
talk to you more and share
great.
stories and hear, now I'm excited to see who else you're interviewing.
Yeah. Oh,
It's so
I'll
fun.
definitely take your Rachel. I'll definitely take your help in that because I really after when I knew that I'm going to interview you, I really read all the article that you have done with Ellie's Worth. I mean the lady
Which
that's
lady?
her name, right? Ellie's
Oh,
Ellie.
Aaron Aylworth?
Yeah,
The
yeah, yeah. Ellen
Oh,
Edwards. Yeah, yeah.
the reporter?
Yeah, the reporter, and I'm really eager to talk to her and know about her journey as well. So if you could just
Oh,
help me, you know,
I will totally
yeah, because
connect you. She's so
her
sweet.
work is amazing.
I
Yeah.
know. She's a disaster reporter.
Oh
So
yeah, yeah.
she's trained to go into disasters all around the world. So yeah,
Okay.
Aaron's amazing. You should interview her
Yeah.
next.
Yeah, and I being a features reporter, I mean I cover fashion and art and all things happy, and to just talk to someone or read someone who's covering disaster is like a cultural shock to me.
I
Yeah, but
know.
that,
Yeah, believe me, when I met her, I was like, "You do what?" So she's got a
yeah.
lot of stories for you.
Oh, okay, okay. No, no, but the next time I'm surely interviewing her, and I'm thanking you for connecting us.
Okay, great. Yeah,
Thank you so
definitely.
much. Thank you so much,
Oh,
Rachel. More
thank you,
power to you.
Johnny. Thank you so much.
Bye.
Okay, we'll talk soon. Okay, bye.
Yeah, bye. Bye.